my next guest, you know, all of us at one time buy a house. And when we buy a house, I don't think half of us stop to think, well, the way that house is sitting, if it rains, is water going to come in? Or, you know, you don't think about these certain things. Do I have enough room to put a in-ground water system in? Well, this is the job of Will Parries, the Groundwater Ltd., and he's going to explain it all to you. Welcome, everybody. Let's hear it to Will Parries. Come on. Hey, well, that's what we want to hear. Now that's what we want to hear from those people, your kids, right?
That's exactly what we want to hear.
You did a good job. That means to get an extra dessert or whatever.
They already got that.
Yeah.
Well, Will, when I talked to you, I said, in your line of work, there's probably you're probably saying to yourself when people call you for your service, you say to yourself, well, why didn't they notice that when they bought the house? What are the things that you've noticed when you've been called for your service that you were surprised at? Why didn't they notice that when they bought the property? Or,
well, I mean, it could be something as simple as a downspout that just runs straight down their basement wall. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's water intrusion. That's something that should have been seen. Or low-lying area next to the house that water can settle in and then ultimately get inside the house.
So what's the number one thing you do most often when you're called for a service in your line of work?
Well, most of the things we do are just watering systems in general. So we do irrigation systems, we do downspout drainage, and also we do French drains.
Oh,
so
okay.
All outdoor water management in a sense.
Nothing inside like the water things in factories and stuff?
No, nothing inside,
yeah.
no.
I always wondered, when you want a water system in, and we have winter here, what keeps the water from freezing? Is there drainage, somewhere to get the water out of the lines?
Right. So we activate it every year in the spring, and then in the winter we deactivate it. So we hook an air compressor up, and we blow all the water out.
Oh, so that is fascinating. So the number one job you do is all water. Now, if a water line breaks that you didn't put in, and you've got to clean up someone else's mess, I imagine that can be quite a problem.
Not really, because we get their business, right?
Oh, well, yeah. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah.
So you have a vacuum that takes out all the water, and do you have to replace, like a lot of trailers you have to put in,
antifreeze?
Antifreeze stuff. Do you have to do any of that to those water lines?
No, so essentially there's, whatever feeds the system, the water source, usually a water meter like what feeds your house. So we would turn the water off for the year. We take the meter out and hook up an air compressor to it. Mm-hmm. We essentially just go through the controller, the same as we do when water's in the system, and we just blow out all the water. So there's no water in the pipes at all over the winter. So,
and as we discussed on the phone, I think you said to me that you are willing to give people references of other homes you've worked on.
Right.
And that's such a good thing to do. Mm-hmm. They can call these people and say, yeah, I just talked to Groundwater Unlimited. What'd they do for you? And that's a great thing to do. A lot of plumbers don't even do that. Mm-hmm. And that's a good thing you do, because that gives them a feeling of confidence.
It does.
Now, a lot of plumbers, they're all different. Pay half now and the other half when it's done. How do you regulate that system for you?
Well, we do if it's over a certain amount of money. Mm-hmm. So if it's over a certain amount, then we get half of the cost of whatever we're doing down. Mm-hmm. That covers usually the equipment and labor in case there's some kind of difference at the end of the project, then that's covered, and we essentially talk about the rest of the money. But that never happens. You know, if anybody is ever concerned, we give them a referral list, and we have great referrals, so it's not something we're ever worried about.
What's the biggest mess you ever walked into that you had to clean up?
The biggest mess? Well, in our line of work, you get dirty a lot.
So, dirt's good.
So, I mean, we see all types of mud blowouts and erosions and water in basement, and I mean, you name it, we've seen it.
And you're probably saying, I can't believe those people put that line in the way they did.
I do.
You say that a lot.
I say it to myself a lot.
How did you get involved in that line of work?
Well, 2003, my wife got pregnant with my first child, and I needed a job, so I was on the road applying for jobs, and just bumped into an irrigation company and got hired in at $8 an hour, learned the business, and moved up from there.
There you go. You got your own. That's the way to go, right? Got your own.
It's the only way to
Thanks
go.
for coming, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I hope homeowners are paid careful attention to what you said, because when these problems come up, you want to call somebody you can depend on. With you willing to give them 3 references or all the references they want, that's a good thing. I would feel confident. And
Yeah.
I just met him. I would feel confident calling him. Well,
I like
thanks for
that.
coming.
Give me a
Appreciate
call.
that.